Hello my friends, welcome to my channel Yoga with Shannon. I'm Shannon and today we're going to be doing a yin practice for the glutes and the groin. The glutes are 4 muscles in each buttock and they tend to get quite tight from sitting in chairs. And then we'll also work with the groin, and these also are muscles that wrap around from the lower back and help our mobility, moving our legs, flexing our legs up and down and to the side. For the practice, I always recommend to have a couple of blocks. You may or may not need them, but I will give you options and then we'll see. So this practice, we will be holding the postures 2 minutes each in this video, but if you'd like to extend them and you're able to, you can always pause the button and hold them for 5 minutes. So I encourage you to explore that. So let's get started. So the first pose we're going to come into is called untied shoelace. And what we're going to do, if this is available for you, is we're going to have the left foot closer to the groin and the right foot in front of the left foot. So the distance of that foot will depend on your body. It doesn't have to be close. But the main point here is as we will fold forward, we will be feeling a stretch in the right buttock. And that is the point of the pose. So it will look different for everybody in terms of where the feet are. But as long as the right foot is in front of the left foot, wherever that works for you. So let's come down and we fold forward as far as we can. Now, we all have different bodies, right? And different flexibility, and we need to honor that. So folding forward will increase that compression in the right buttock. Maybe all you can do is come down as far as this, in which case you can extend your arms and rest on your arms and then just relax your head to dangle. Or maybe you can come all the way down onto your forearms. And you could also, in this case, use a block, so to support your head. So the block has 3 sides, the low, the medium, and the high side. So depending on your body, see what you need. So let's come into this pose, bringing our head down as far as it will go and relaxing the neck. So staying here in the pose, just scan your body to notice what's happening in the pose, how it feels. And feel your breath on your lips or your nose. Feel the quality of your breath. Notice your body as you breathe, rising and falling in the chest and the belly, expanding and contracting in the rib cage. And then place your breath wherever it feels that you have the most intensity. Could be physical or emotional. And you just consciously place your breath there to nourish that space. So it's possible to be feeling compression in the right buttock as well as a back stretch, lower back, maybe the middle back as well.
Take 2 deep breaths here and exhale through your mouth. Very gently and slowly press yourself up with your hands. Take your time.
Beautiful. So as we slow down in yin, we move very slowly, allowing the mind to settle into the body. We just lean back on our hands, place our feet as wide as our hips in front of us, and we just gently rock our knees from side to side, synchronizing the movement with the breath, really connecting with our breath, slowing down to enjoy the present moment of each pose. Beautiful. So now we're going to come into the pose on the other side. So we're going to switch our legs. So this time, the right foot will be closer to the body, to the groin, and the left foot will be in front. So as we fold forward, what we want to feel is a compression in the left buttock. So we fold forward, and then maybe we need to adjust our front foot slightly, or both our feet, to change the distance. So this all depends on how it feels in your left buttock. So experiment with that. And again, as we come forward, folding, we can either have our hands wide like a giraffe drinking water, and just relax our neck. And then maybe as our body softens, if we're limited to that, we can slowly come down onto our forearms, or maybe we can fold completely forward and rest our head on our hands. Or we could use a block as well to rest the head. So let's come into our pose and settle into stillness so that we can compress our joints, ligaments, and tissues. And this really helps us with our mobility, which is great for all ages. So coming down, we settle into the pose. And once we settled into the shape, untied shoelace, we start to scan the body and feel the physical experience of the pose, really noticing where we feel compression, noticing sensations, and then we reconnect with our breath and place it consciously where we need it. It's natural to feel maybe a little bit frustrated or irritated by this stillness as the mind is busy. But the good news is, as the body is still, the mind will slowly settle down. So we just notice our emotions, our thoughts, and we come back to our body and our breath with gentleness, without judging.
And we take 2 deep breaths. Gently press into your hands. Slowly come out. It's possible you might feel discomfort or stiffness. That's normal. And we lean back on our hands. Beautiful. And bring our feet as wide as our hips. And again, just rocking our knees from one side to the other, releasing the energy, giving our lower back a little massage from that stretch. It's really feeling our body as much as we can and being present without judging, without choosing good or bad, like I don't like. Beautiful. So now we're going to come into frog pose. So this is it can be quite an intense pose. It's a stretch of the groin, and perhaps our knees are quite sensitive. So let's come into the pose. I will show you the pose and then we will look at options. So in general, we bring our knees wide as we can, and then we start to lift our hips so that they're kind of in line with the knees, okay? And then you can bring your ankles behind your knees, and then you should possibly be starting to feel some kind of compression here in the groin. And then you can come down and rest on your forearms. And then just rest here. So this is frog pose. You can also have the feet a little bit closer together. But what we want to avoid is sitting back, because that's more like child's pose, and then we lose the actual target area of the groin. If your knees are very sensitive, you can either have a blanket under your knees, or what you can do is you can roll your mat over and double it, and then you can rest your knees on that extra padding. So let's come into our frog pose. So the knees are wide, and we feel that stretch in the groin. And then we bring our hips a little bit forward so that they're kind of parallel to the knees. And then coming down. And again, you can just rest your hand on your fists, or maybe you want to use a block. And let's settle in here. Adjusting our feet, protecting our knees. And then just settling into this groin stretch. Again, we bring our mind into potentially our groin. Just relaxing into it. We might feel some resistance because of the intensity. We can just notice that and then relax. If we have tension in our jaw, we can open our mouth slightly and let the mouth stay slightly open, allowing any tension to release in the face. Take 2 deep breaths here. Very carefully press into your hands. Press your body up and then slowly come out of the intensity on the groin. Bring your feet closer together. Lean your hips back and then bring your knees together. Beautiful, well done. That's a very intense pose for some, including me. So we're now going to come into our forward folding butterfly. But before we do that, let's just do a little release of the groin. Bring our feet again as wide as our hips in front of us. Very slowly rock the knees from side to side. And just feel that release of the compression in the groin. You can also very welcome to extend your legs and move them how you want and shake them. Just feeling that compression and release. Good. So let's come into our next pose. So this is a forward folding butterfly. And I'll show you the pose without any props and then we can see the options. So we're going to bring our feet to touch. And we're going to bring them close to our groin. And then we're going to slowly roll our spine, let our hands rest without pulling, with the palms up. And then roll our spine, let our head dangle, neck relax completely. And just completely let go. So for this pose, if you want to use props, if you find your legs are straining a lot, you can place blocks either side. Or you can also, if you want, you can rest your head on blocks just by placing them on your feet. But the main thing is you want to, if we over support our pose with props, sometimes we can prevent our body from softening into it further. So we just have to notice like how much compression we feel and adjust the props accordingly. So really use your curiosity and your awareness of what's going on. So let's come into the pose. We'll be feeling some kind of stretch and compression in the back as well as in the groin area. So let's fold into our pose and let go. Again, scanning the body, feeling where you feel this, feeling your breath, and thoughts, emotions, and sounds will distract our mind. We just notice them without judging and come back to the physical experience. Take 2 deep breaths here. And then slowly pressing your hands into the mat or your feet and bring your spine up one vertebra at a time. Bring your head up last, and then holding your knees, bring your knees together. Again, placing your feet just in front of you, as wide as your hips, leaning back on your hands, and gently drop. Knees from side to side. Just feeling that release in the groin and the pelvis area. You're also welcome to move as you want. Maybe you just want to extend your legs and let them be still, or you could just rock your feet side to side and your legs side to side. Just feeling that lovely release of energy. All right, so let's come into our next posture. So for the next posture, we are coming into something called up swan. So we come onto our hands and knees. We have our hands towards the front of the mat, spread our fingers wide, we're on our knees, and then we bring our right knee behind our right wrist. And then we slide the left knee back. So you may want to move your front foot forward slightly or not. So when we're coming into this pose and we slide the left knee back and we let the hips settle, we'll be feeling a compression in the right buttock again, and also a stretch here in the left groin. Once again, if your knees are very sensitive, you can either place a blanket under your knee, or you could roll your mat over. And we're going to stay upright here. So we're going to keep our chest lifted. And if you also want to support your right buttock, you can place a block just under that. But again, see if it's overly supporting you and you can't settle into the pose as your body softens. So notice what's happening there. And settling in here. Keeping our chest lifted, up swan, and bringing your mind into the pose, feeling. If this becomes a little bit too much for your wrists, you can also always make little fists after some time, and then rest on your fists. Keep relaxing, softening into the pose. Bringing your mind into the intensity, placing your breath. If you want to go slightly deeper, you can always come onto your fingertips, raising your chest a little bit more, compressing the lower back here, where a lot of the muscles start and attach to the lower spine, lower back, and come round the pelvis into the hips. Hip flexors are a bunch of muscles that help to move the legs, the hips. Beautiful. Take 2 deep breaths here. Let it all go. And then gently tuck your back toes and move your knee forward, your left knee. Slide your right knee to meet your left knee, and then we're going to just press into our hands into downward facing dog. So we just nice and soft press your hands, your knuckles into the mat, and bend your knees. And if you want, you can just move your legs one heel at a time, just releasing any energy. Beautiful. And then we're going to bring our left knee behind our left wrist. Okay, so we're changing sides here. So again, maybe you want to sit to one side and move your foot forward slightly. Just see what works for your body. The main thing is feeling compression in the left buttock, in the muscles there, the glutes. And then we're going to slide the right knee back. Use your mat if you need to pad by folding it over for your knee, and the top of your foot comes down. Settling in here, we press into our hands, resting on our hands, and let our chest stay up, an up swan. So relaxing here into the pose, feeling the pose. It's natural to feel discomfort, physically and mentally. As we compress, the compression can feel uncomfortable. That's normal. And maybe the stillness is challenging for the mind. But that's okay. We just keep coming back to the physical body and to the breath. And slowly we can relax. We're also compressing our lower back. So we could be feeling it in three places: the left buttock, the right groin, and the lower back. Beautiful. Take 2 deep breaths here. Beautiful. Tuck your back toes, slide your right knee forward, taking the pressure off your hips. And then slide the left knee to join the right knee and slowly come into a soft downward dog. You can bend your knees a lot, keep your feet as wide as your hips, press into your knuckles, create space in your spine. And if you want, you can stay still or you can walk your dog one heel at a time. Nice and slow. And slowly come down onto your knees. Okay, so we're going to come into our final posture, reclining twist. So we're going to come down onto our back. Take your time. And then slowly, let's hug our knees to our chest. Give ourselves a nice hug and nice massage for the lower back, just rocking side to side. Make circles, one direction and then change. Beautiful. And place your feet behind your buttocks. Extend your arms out to the side with your palms facing down. And then lift your hips up and place your hips to the left side of the mat. And then we're going to drop our knees to the right side, stacking our knees and our hips and staying with our shoulders on the mat. You can have your knees as high as you want. You can also hold your knees, or if you want, you can wrap the top leg over the bottom leg. So we twist our spine, we can look up to the sky or look towards our left hand. And just melting here, marinating in this wonderful spinal twist, which is excellent for times of stress or insomnia as well. Take 2 deep breaths here. Exhale. And gaze up to the sky, gently releasing your legs. Take your time as you come onto your spine. You may feel tender and a little bit sore, that's okay. And then bring your knees to your chest. Hug your knees. Nice and gently rock side to side. Make circles with your knees. And change direction. Beautiful. Drop the feet behind the buttocks and extend your arms to the side. Palms facing down. Lift your hips up and place them this time to the right side. We're changing sides. Drop the knees, stacking them and the hips to the left side. Adjust your shoulders to stay on the mat. You can hold your knee here if you like, or you can wrap your legs if you want. And gaze up to the sky or look to your right hand. And as we twist our spine, we're also rinsing our digestive system, our organs, compressing them, twisting them. Take 2 deep breaths. Exhale. And very gently gaze up to the sky, release your legs, and slowly come onto your back, moving very carefully. And then we're going to hug our knees into our chest. One more time before Shavasana. And just squeeze the knees into the chest and squeeze the lower back into the mat, nice and gentle, and then rock side to side. Make circles. Changing direction. And then extending your legs down. Full Shavasana. Bring your feet as wide as the mat. Let your feet fall out to the side, arms away from your body, palms facing up. Close your eyes. Let your body be heavy. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Moving your fingers and moving your toes. Rocking your head from side to side. And take a nice big stretch. Reach your arms over your head. Beautiful. And then slowly roll onto your right side. And gently press yourself up. And come up to seated. Beautiful. So bringing our hands to our heart center. Namaste. Thank you for joining me in the practice today. If you like this video, please be sure to like it down below and to subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, please post them down below. Thank you very much and look forward to seeing you on the mat soon.